Théo Pourchaire could be the next star rookie on the F1 grid, and here's why. The 20-year-old Frenchman is, at present, the Alfa Romeo reserve driver and the current points leader in the Formula 2 Championship. Now, Théo has been tipped for an F1 seat throughout his junior career, and these calls have only been further amplified as he's fought his way to lead the F2 standings heading into the final round at Abu Dhabi. And meanwhile, the man in the way of Théo's F1 seat, Zhou Guanyu, has been delivering around B-grade results in Formula 1. Nothing woeful, but nothing that would lead Alfa Romeo to unconditionally retain him in the face of new talent. Zhou came into Formula 1 both with significant financial backing and without a particularly inspiring junior Formula trophy cabinet, including an F2 and F3 results table that falls significantly short of what Pourchaire has been able to achieve in the last few years. Fundamentally, the questions are, is Zhou one of the 20 best people in the world for this job? Or would Théo be higher on that theoretical list? And most importantly, which one between them has the higher development potential? So as I make the case for Theo Pourchaire in this video, we'll be doing so within an analytical paradigm that I stole from one of my old rugby coaches. How good is Théo at the things that require talent, and how good is he at the things that don't? Let's start then with some evidence in favour of Théo's raw and intuitive driving skills, something that comes down to talent. Back in 2021, Théo's first full season in Formula 2, he became the youngest ever feature race pole sitter and race winner as he was first of the checkered flag in Monaco. And I think if we take a look here at some of the onboard stills from that lap, you can see just how determined and committed he is on these entries, particularly in these two shots at Casino Square and at Tabak. There's so much lap time to be found on these entry curbs, and it's a huge risk-reward scenario. All the best and most exciting drivers have similar looking onboards, full commitment with full trust in the car underneath them. And remember, Théo is doing all of this at 17. Now, as with everything in the real world, it's not all sunshine and rainbows, and later that year Théo also suffered one of the scariest crashes in F2 history after stalling on the grid and getting rear-ended by Enzo Fittipaldi in Saudi Arabia. Luckily, he was unhurt and unfazed, and after Monaco and his F2 career, he's gone on to take a further 19 podiums across sprint and feature races with ART. And for Théo, this level of consistency across qualifying, reverse grid formats and traditional Grand Prix means that arguably to a greater extent than anyone else on this year's Formula 2 grid, he's proven his ability to succeed across track dynamic changes, weather changes, and everything that F2 can throw at him. And looking back a little bit in Théo's career, it was the winning of 4 consecutive French karting championships in increasing age brackets, as well as the prestigious French and German Formula 4 crowns that put Théo on this list of young racers with Formula 1 potential, and led to his contract with the Sauber Driver Academy being signed back in 2019. And next after Formula 4, it was the always captivating and chaotic Formula 3 championship for Théo, and it was only by a 4-point margin to which he lost out to Oscar Piastri's title charge back in 2020. And if he wins Formula 2 this year at the Abu Dhabi finale, the regulations, rather obviously, dictate that he must move beyond Formula 2 as it's seen as the final point in the ladder to Formula 1. Although, rather confusingly, the last person who took home the F2 crown, Felipe Drugovich, has yet to find himself in anything more than the occasional Formula 1 practice session with the Aston Martin Academy. Nonetheless, Théo's tenacious talent, in light of the mounting evidence, is more than sufficient to have earned himself a chance in the top class of international open-wheel motorsport. But is that enough? So we know that he's got the talent, but what about the things that don't require talent? The work, the practice, the carrying of the boats, if you will. Well, one of the fundamental skills in Formula 1 that has little if any relation to driving is becoming used to the constant media pressure and then being able to utilise it to your advantage. And this is one aspect that to quite a large extent Théo has had successful experience with. Rising through the ranks as a championship favourite in every category since regional karting means that both pre and post-race, Théo has had to reflect on his performances and potential in front of an ever-growing sea of journalists who are all fishing for quotes and taglines. Recently, Théo was asked about his mindset heading into the championship finale in Abu Dhabi for Formula 2. He responded calmly by saying, "I'll go back to my reserve driver duties with Alfa Romeo and be a little bit more dedicated to that, which is good, doing something else. A lot of simulators, probably some running in a Formula 1 car, but I can't say much. But yeah, I'm happy to have that comfortable lead in the championship. I will still work hard. We haven't won anything yet, but it's a huge day for the championship, so I'm happy." Maturity and patience in moments of duress and pressure are attributes that Théo has exhibited throughout his rise through the racing ranks. And let me submit this as evidence of that. In junior racing, the driver coaches stress that the path to titles, alongside the obvious things like winning, is to find ways to score points in the races that you aren't winning. Don't overdrive, cede positions to faster cars rather than throwing a risky block, and use every lap to learn something about your car, about your competitors, and even about yourself. This is how Théo has stayed near the top of the championship tables across categories, and in turn, the exact skills that he will need to maximise his returns in his first races in Formula 1, if he ever gets there. And this is exactly what we've seen Liam Lawson do in these last 2 rounds with AlphaTauri. It's all about learning, it's all about being humble, and try to remember and retain as much as you can in the moment. Alright then, so Theo's got the things that require talent and the things that don't. The hype train has been out of the station for a while, but now it comes down to a matter of being at the right place at the right time. And Theo may well be. After De Vries's exit, it's Sargent, Tsunoda and Zhou who are the drivers under the most pressure in the driver market. And as Franz Tost declared earlier in the year, the idea of the pay driver is out. No longer can the promise of sponsorship contributions and hat sales determine driver market decisions. Instead, only those truly destined for greatness should get the chance to push the pedals, turn the wheel, and cross the line in Formula One's awesome machinery. Is it time for Theo then? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching, and make sure to check out crash.net for all of our motorsport coverage from us here at the team.